Well, hello, everyone. Hopefully you're having a fantastic summer. I know I am, because we've had some amazing new releases from Star Trek Adventures that I know are having me sit at my dining room table, play rolling dice by myself and creating new adventures all day long. And that's what we're here to talk about today. I'm Michael Dismuke. I am a freelance writer for Star Trek Adventures RPG, also lead writer on Captain's Log, also a fiction writer for Star Trek now, growing my library of stuff I do over here, diversifying and all that good stuff. And of course, this is not a podcast unless I was podcasting with my I don't know. Am I the command? I'm not the command. I'm the XO with the captain of the ship, Jim Johnson.
Hey everybody, Jim Johnson. I'm the project manager and line editor for the Star Trek Adventures RPG and the Captain's Log solo RPG. Also project manager for the Fallout 2D 20 RPG over at Modifius, plus some other stuff that you'll be seeing in the coming months and years, something like that. Also a fiction writer with Star Trek and science fiction, fantasy, etc. You can check me out at my website, and got more fiction coming, hopefully by the end of the year. And we'll talk about that at some other point, I'm sure. But we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about tonight. And I've got two fabulous guests with us tonight, as they are no strangers to this show. They've both been on at least a couple times each. So I'll just introduce the both of them. They can introduce themselves, hawk your wares, whatever cool stuff you're working on right now. Tell our fans all about them, and then we'll dig into the topic. So BC, fire away, please.
Sure. I'm BC Holmes, and I'm the current maintainer of the Star Trek Adventures Character Creator app. And
yeah,
it feels like a full-time job sometimes, but
I'm a huge fan. Huge fan.
Everyone loves BC.
And all the enhancements that you've made to that things over the years is just astounding. And then our other guest, Eric, please introduce yourself.
My name is Eric Campbell. I am known primarily on the internet as a professional game master and person who kind of kicked off Star Trek Adventures first edition with the first big actual play, A Shield of Tomorrow. And then ever since then, I've segued into writing. I write comic books now with my partner, Jody Hauser, who is a prolific comic book writer. Jody Sensei has taken me under her wing. And we currently have a comic out right now. It'll been out by a few months by now, but we just came at the time of recording, coming back from Comic-Con. And where we had a signing at Dark Horse for our Stranger Things Rise of Hellfire comic. It's the origin story of Eddie Munson. A dream come true to be able to do that. Also, fun fact, you're hearing it here for the first time. The story that I used in the comic that Jody and I wrote together actually happens at a gaming table. The D&D adventure actually happens at a gaming table. So it was extraordinary and a lot of fun to write it. So that's what I'm up to. And of course, I also stream on Monday nights with my humble, wonderful little group, the Stream Punks. We have been running Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition, which is one of my all-time favorite RPGs. I know you might think that that's a biased opinion because I've written for STA now, but and I've had a great relationship with Modifius, but no, it's my favorite. It's easily in the top 5 of all my favorite games. So yeah,
I praise it. Thank you, Eric. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always. Everything you've done for the game over the almost 10 years, which is hard to believe.
I know.
It just boggles my mind. But yeah, so that's awesome. So glad to have you here. BC, glad to have you here. Michael, tell us what we're going to be doing tonight.
All right. So this is going to be fun. One of the things, Jim's mentioned it himself, is that early on when we were developing these books, myself and Al Spader and a couple other writers were like, we need more random tables. We need more random tables. And Jim said originally he's not into random tables, but now he's into random tables. So glad we have a new convert. So what we have been talking about doing, by the time this airs, Jim, your blog may be out about it, I think, but it's about combining Captain's Log, the exploration guide, the technical guide. If you want to, there's all these random tables in lower decks that work, also. But imagine if you just took those books together and basically just kept pushing prompts, rolling dice, and building an adventure together. And what we want to do today, because we know everyone sitting here on this podcast at this point are game masters, wonderful creators. We want to show the power of taking those guides to create the mission. And sometimes I know some of you out there talk about you do collaborative gameplay, like everybody's sitting there with their own captain's logbook and pushing the adventure forward. So that's kind of what we're going to do at this point, is collaborative world building, mission building at this point. Eric's going to specialize on captain's log. I heard him talking on his streaming show today about how much he likes using captain's log with his gaming groups. Jim is going to focus on the newly released Explorer Guide, which by now you've all had for about 2 months in your hands, and hopefully you're getting some good use out of. And then BC Holmes is going to specialize with the technical guide, because what's a mission if you don't have complications? And there's some wonderful, wonderful complication random tables in there. Right? Okay. Let's start at the top. Let's jump in. The first thing we would want to do is pull out that captain's log, and on page 257 is where we determine the mission type.
Okay.
So let's pretend we're all building a Star Trek Adventures module together and get into figuring out what this is. Oh, that's a beautiful dice.
Big D20 from Comic-Con, yeah.
Oh, nice.
All right. Because of all the GMs, I know they have obnoxiously large D20s, and I was like, I've never owned one of those before. Why haven't I done that? Okay, so
you should get one the size of a bowling ball and just roll it down the middle of the aisle as you present.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm rolling. I rolled a 5. Diplomacy.
Jim's favorite oftentimes, diplomacy. So that puts us on page 259, where you are going to roll exactly what type of diplomatic adventure this is going to be.
Here we go. God. 18, which is settle interplanetary dispute.
Why is this perfect, Jim? Why do we want to do this? Okay, I have to take notes on this. So we got a diplomatic mission.
To settle an interplanetary dispute.
Love it.
Wow, this means we may have to create 2 different biomes today.
Awesome. Yeah, this is
have to visit 2 planets.
These 2 planets within the same system is what it sounds like.
Or okay, well, since you asked that question, I get to do a roll on the 50-50 table. And if I roll 1 through 10, yes, it's in the same system. Okay. If I roll 11 through 20, no. So let's see what I roll. I rolled an 8. It's in the same system.
Oh, I already have an idea.
Okay. Speak, riff a little.
Well, my immediate thought was like, is this a Romulan Riemann thing? That's the same planet. So they'd have to be 2 different planets. What time does this take place during the great, like when, during the, like pre-Picard area where they're trying to move Romulans, and is there a dispute between Remans and Romulans settling on a planet? And that would be because Class M planets are kind of rare. I mean, they're not exactly easy to find, and terraforming takes a long time. So like,
well, you're asking some good questions. So I'm actually going to roll on the era table on page 93 in Captain's Log, and we're going to determine what era we're playing. But this module is built in. Yeah. So I rolled a 14, which makes this next generation era.
Okay, so too early. Okay, so then, then it could be anything.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Remans. Yeah, we're right in that wheelhouse.
All right.
Yeah. We do know that Riemann, so we can exclude Remus because we know they only have one type of biome.
Right.
It would be caves, basically.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, right.
All right. So I think we have to roll up Romulus first, Jim, that this away mission is taking us to Romulus. This is amazing, actually.
So what if it was... Because, okay, so remind me. So the Remans, they have their own moon. Is that correct? That constantly faces, one side of it constantly faces the dark side of the planet?
Exactly.
Is it possible that there's a colony? I mean, I don't know if I'm breaking canon here, but is it possible there's like a colony of Remans that have found their own home, but now the Romulans want to take? I don't know.
I think what we're going to do is with the exploration guide, actually go for the hook. It'll give us a story hook now.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So Jim, why don't we start with Romulus? What part of area, we'll decide a biome on that. You want to talk about the biome roll table?
Yeah, I'm going to open up the biome chapter. I'm going to roll D20 just randomly. Well, not randomly. I'll roll for a biome here. So I rolled a 14. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be in the swamp.
That's cool. And we should tell people because we know some people are going to start looking for it for the biome roll table. We actually had to make this up. So it's if you go to page 49, you'll see all the biomes listed there. You kind of have to create your own D20 table with that, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to swamp. So Jim, why don't you go ahead and roll on what type of swamp this is on page 114.
Start with the swamp terrain type. So we know we're in the swamp. We know that it is a mangrove swamp. So, and this already, we've got some traits already on hand. So whatever we decide to start planning, whatever that first scene is going to be, we've got ambush predators, high tide or low tide. So we can pick some of those traits. Mangrove swamps occur in tropical and subtropical coastal regions, subject to tidal influence. All right, so we are in a mangrove swamp. Do we want a random event or do we want a story hook?
I want to, for those who aren't familiar with it, you want to read a little bit more about the mangrove swamp?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I will. Mangrove swamps occur in tropical and subtropical coastal regions and are subject to tidal influence. They are often recognized by their long, thick, tangled roots that appear almost as stilts holding the main tree above the water. These large stands of trees have their roots exposed to the elements before being flooded again. At high tide, these root channels pose hazards to travel and habitat to carnivorous animals that lie in wait. The trees themselves are important habitats to many species of birds.
Good visualization. So we'd be looking like the Florida Everglades, right? Type of thing.
Roots and the big trees, yeah, big Everglades, swampy kind of things. I feel like we need to see a fan boat going through it or something.
A Romulan fan boat.
Romulan fan boat. That sounds like a band name.
Is it possible that we have some sort of vehicular craft that's modified, a Starfleet mangrove swamp runner or something that we introduce in this module?
I mean, yeah, that could totally happen. Because mangroves, that they are so incredibly important environmentally to so many species on the coastlines. Not to mention like the protection that they give during like weather events, for example, and their effects on erosion and coastal, like basically coastal protection and inland flooding. Like this is one of the things, that was one of the first things I learned about when I started studying marine biology, was the importance of mangroves.
Okay. Yeah. And
Sorry,
remember, we still have to think about our theme. This is somehow involving some interplanetary dispute.
Right.
It's possible that this, we don't have to make it the Remans too. It could be somebody else.
Right.
We can get into that later, right?
Yeah. We might find out that this is a Gorn planet.
And BC, you can get ready, since we have this cool, Federation level swamp skimmer that prepares some good technical roles. We can start thinking about some possible malfunctions for that.
I'm already visualizing like the Argo buggy, but with one of those big fans on the back of it.
Nice. Very nice. Very good. And then, so you want to do a story generation on that?
Yep. I'll roll on the story generator table here real quick. I've got a 17. That is, the mission is to assist a research outpost studying a colony's contaminated water supply.
Water supply.
So maybe the dispute is over the water supply.
Why would it be interplanetary though?
What if the other planet, it could be something like, it could be a massive operation where a planet that's ecosystem is utterly dying. This one has some kind of microbial rich water supply that would help them basically reinvigorate an entire ecosystem. However, it comes at the cost of destroying the people who are living on the other planet, or something along those lines. Could be that the water itself is the key to all of it, or
why would one planet have any kind of rights to another planet's water?
I think that's the question, because I mean, you could actually make, there's so many great TNG episodes where like one planet's just totally taking what they want from another planet, and they show up and they think it's pretty black and white, and then they discover, oh no, it's because this planet actually wronged the other planet. And
let's go to page 122 and see if we can get one more story hook to maybe illuminate,
help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then with the contaminated water supply, what contaminated it? Was it sabotage? Was it natural?
Right.
Was it a probe from the other planet?
Oh yeah, what if it was accidental and it sparked a war or something?
Or maybe it was intentional to spark a war.
Right.
Or maybe there's a third party getting into the middle of it.
Right. Maybe it's somebody.
What if the probe went underwater decades ago, and now it's contaminating stuff. And
maybe. All right, let me roll this. Let me see where Hook brings us.
Or I mean, it could be a first contact situation gone awry, where like a Federation probe has been down there for ages, thought destroyed, and now there's a interplanetary war taking place over the technology that both sides have found.
Oh, I have another idea. I'm going to wait though for Jim to roll, because I'm loving where this is going.
This is
I rolled a 14, so Jim, we're going to add a fun situation here. A Ferengi merchant is stuck in the mud.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes. Oh, this is better.
Oh, that's so much better.
And this is Enterprise era, which makes it so. I mean, TNG era. Stuck in mud. Okay, is it possible that he was on the probe trying to steal it and crashed it into this area? Like, what if he tried to steal a Federation or another probe, right? Yeah.
That could be it.
BC, I have to know what you're thinking at this point.
So I was wondering about, like, we were talking a moment ago about why water was such an important element. We had a couple of interesting ideas there, but what if it was a bit more banal in that they had a sort of trade relationship? One area just doesn't have a whole lot of water, and so the other area has been selling it to them. But now the Ferengi comes along and is like, hey, you guys are amateurs when it comes to sales. You don't understand profit at all. You really need to dial this up to 11. And now all of a sudden, the one side is like, you're going to bankrupt us. We can't possibly pay for this, but we'll die if we can't get our water.
That's a good interplay. And you know what? I like it too. I like thinking creatively with these terms, like stuck in the mud. It doesn't have to be literal mud. What if he's just stuck in his ways? Like he's intractable when it comes to his greedy motivations.
Works for me.
Right? Okay. All right, so let's review what we have so far. I wrote all this down. So we had rolled up that we have a diplomatic situation, that this Starfleet TNG crew is going to go help. They have to settle an interplanetary feud. Apparently there's a research station that they need to go help out with a contaminated water supply. It's located in a mangrove swamp. Are we sticking with Romulus here?
We can change it.
Yeah. So we say random planet.
Yeah, we could say it's a random planet. I mean, if we really wanted to jump through hoops, we could say the Romulans are secretly involved because they're trying to spark a conflict. But yeah, I'm fine changing it to a random planet.
Yeah. Do we want to maybe, Michael, do we want to maybe roll on the probability chart to see if this planet is in the neutral zone?
Yes.
Let's just crank up that.
That could add some stakes to the story.
Okay. 1 to 10, it is. 11 through 20, it is not. But then we're gonna have to roll where it is. Then, if it's not, we'll see.
Right.
Okay, let's figure if it's in the neutral zone. 20, it is not. So
not
now we have to roll whose border it's on.
Yeah, is it in Federation space
or Ferengi space?
Or Ferengi space, sure.
Or Romulan space. Do we want to do a 3?
In the captain's log, there's a species chart near the.
There is
third generation, right?
Yes. Let me pull that up. Additional matrices.
Yeah.
It's family events
for your race or for your character.
Yeah, species. There's a species for TNG. So I'll do the species like so. I'll roll the era for the species first. That puts a 5. So this is going to be a classic Enterprise era species. And then when I roll, I got a 12.
Just roll which species space the planet's in.
Rizian.
So it's right, Rizian space. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. You don't seem excited about that, Michael.
No, my mind's going trying to figure out. I don't know. I don't know how many how many planets are habitable in Rizian system.
We'll figure that out later.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out later.
It's a new one now.
Yeah, this is making me think, which is nice. I love Ferengis on Risa. That's probably one of the best combos.
It's a Risa colony, not close to Risa necessarily. Maybe they're expanding.
Yeah. Well, this is good to know. This is Federation jurisdiction, at least going in there as a diplomat. Right. That's a benefit of it. Okay. Let's go back because I think we need to figure out. So we know this Risa or colony is involved on a tropical planet, mangroves there. We don't know who the other planet is in dispute with. Are we going with someone's probe crash and they're blaming it on this other planet?
You certainly could. I'm so intrigued by the idea of the neutral zone being involved in this. If one's on one side and one's on the other side. or one's in the neutral zone and one's not. I don't know. I'm kind of just throwing paint to the canvas here.
All right.
I like that the Ferengi is involved somehow.
Yeah.
Let's figure out. In fact, BC, let's go to your technical guide now, because we have to figure out what contaminated this. Are we all agreeing it's some sort of probe?
I'm totally down for that. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to figure out what happened with the probe, what malfunctioned, and did the Ferengi board it or not? Is this a probability matrix roll, BC? Do you think, whether it was on board it or just manipulated it from outside? What do you think?
Where does the probe originate? The probe originates from the other planet, we've decided.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe the Ferengi was trying to intercept the probe because that looked valuable, and that's what led to it crashing on the planet.
a poorly timed tractor beam.
Oh, you know what I love? Ford said, "Create a need, then fill it." Did the Ferengi purposely contaminate the water to offer its services to clean it?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Let's figure out how he damaged the probe. Which table would you roll on, BC, to determine what malfunction is happening on the probe, do you think?
That's an interesting one. Do we have
like, there's engine malfunctions, there's propulsion malfunctions, deflector, shields. So you could pick something random.
Engine malfunction seems like a good one. Where's that?
Okay, so that's going to be on page on the back. What's really cool, if everyone ever needs to look up for these quickly, in page 128 on the index of the technical guide, it has all the complications listed there. So under it has like warp drive complications. So you can go to 120, page 120, and roll randomly on that.
So engine, is it warp? Is that the only engine that we have an option for? Looks like it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Have warp drives, right?
Sure. That seems reasonable. Here we go. That is a 14, which comes to an imbalance in the coils, makes everyone feel like they are spinning on board faster as the ship increases speed.
Oh, no.
Okay. So, I mean, if it's a probe, it's probably not. There probably aren't people on board, but the imbalance of the coils, I think, is an element that we could use.
Okay. So he created
this is leading to some disorienting effects of some radiation or something after the thing has crashed. So we get that sort of, we're able to retain that imbalancey portion of it.
Oh, I love this. So you're saying it's creating some sort of like a vertigo effect on the people in the area and the
Don't
researchers.
listen to this, Jody. Jody, cover your ears. Don't listen to this. Jody's just recovered from vertigo.
Oh no. Wait, this sounds really good. Is that, and that's creating the contamination is creating this vertigo effect that could
drink the contaminated water. Yeah, they get vertigo.
Yeah.
Oh man. Or is it when they just drink the water or they come into the area?
Oh, I mean, water evaporates, so it's probably in the air too.
The humidity factor, right?
Yeah, it is a swamp.
Yeah, that's true.
Does the Starfleet away team know this coming in?
Probably. In fact, this is probably an ecological disaster because all the birds have been impacted.
Oh,
this might be one of those things where it's perfect to set up the mission for the players to think that it's an ecological disaster, only to learn that it's actually an interplanetary conflict going on, and that there's that's a great segue into like what's really happening.
Oh, in fact, to that point, the Rizian colony is blaming somebody else who maybe wanted the colony before. And they're maybe the thing is they're blaming, like, they left an ecological disaster here. They caused this. No one really knows the source of it yet. We all know Act 3. It's the Ferengi who.
Right.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the people at the research station, do they need a rescue? Are they trapped because of vertigo?
Oh, God.
Possibly.
And then I have to ask BC then, on what are we calling this flyer, the Argo that is with the fan on the back? I gotta give it a name.
We should call it the Irwin. Or
like Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or
that's a good. Oh,
he's a hero of mine.
Oh, it is. It's the Irwin. Okay, so you got the Irwin. So what kind of going back to that complications table? What kind of potential problems is that going to cost the Irwin? Cause the Irwin.
Okay,
Yeah,
look.
Get my index back. Okay, so complications. Impulse.
There's so many good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jim's going to have to get a chance to roll on the potential complications that happen in the mangrove during this mission.
Could we? Could this just be an away team complication?
Try it. Go for it. It can add to it. You know me, I could do 12 complications to make the game for fun. So we'll go with that one.
All right. So I've rolled an 8. 8. This is interesting. Unidentified life forms surround the away team, curious but territorial with unknown intentions. All right. So maybe,
Wait, can you read that a little slower for us?
Sure.
So that everyone hears. Okay.
Yep. Unidentified life forms surround the away team, curious but territorial with unknown intentions. So perhaps the radiation or whatever from the coils has had an effect on some of the nearby water microbes, and it's sort of Genesis planeted all of those microbes into something previously unseen and maybe a little bit intimidating.
Love it. Let's keep that in as a complication. Jim, give us another one.
Another complication for the swamp.
Yeah, because they have swamp complications, right?
This is something our crew's going to deal with once they get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one. BC has one.
All right. I rolled an 8. This would be flash flooding.
Nice.
Man, it's so thematically appropriate.
Rough day for this team.
The flash flooding is probably what exposed the probe.
And like washing away the.
I would make it that because of the rotating coils, those imbalance in the coils, that it's creating tidal issues too.
Maybe what could have happened is the probe has actually caused. Oh, what is that called? Hold on. There's a thing, not upwelling. That's
storm surge. Or
there's hold on. Hold on.
He's checking it out. And while he's doing that, BC, go look at what kind of technical difficulty the Irwin may get in. Like, go find a table on what kind of that might affect its sensors or deflector or whatever, just maybe find a table for us to see what they might encounter. So if everyone, like if I was playing this game and building this module out, I'd have those tables ready to go. So if one of my team members has a complication, I'm going to mark where my complication tables are. Sometimes I make them up, but now with these books, I can just go to the complication tables and just roll and make life a little quicker and easier for me.
I'm trying to remember this. There's a phenomenon where it's revealed that there is actually pressurized groundwater underneath lake beds and such. So it's almost like when erosion takes place, or there is like or an earthquake or something that can actually cause an upsurge of water, and water levels suddenly rise as like an underground lake is exposed, or like an underground reservoir is exposed. It can literally cause water that has a completely different composition to start erupting from the bottom. Sometimes that can be toxic if it's like fresh water and all of a sudden it's being flooded with salt water, or vice versa.
I love find out what that is, because that's how when I'm writing when I'm writing my modules, I look for weird science like that. And what's really cool about that, if it revealed that underground water, it probably is where those unidentified life forms have been living.
Right. It could have been an entire underground ecosystem that's been ruptured because of this thing.
So they think they're under attack. So now we have a third element to deal with in this game.
Yeah.
Jim, what are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Jim?
Oh no, I'm just thinking about the poor away team having to go down to the planet and discovering all this, complication on top of complication. Is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But we call these optional encounters. So when I'm designing a module, this we're teaching people have a bunch of counters. If you think it's a little too much, back up. Don't add the surge or don't add the vertigo, but to me, when I'm building act 1, 2, and 3, I'm trying to think what possible can create more complications so I can control the pace of the story a little bit more, right? Yeah.
But no, I mean, but I love that. I mean, as a writer, like the more rocks you can throw at your characters, the more conflict, the more interesting it's going to be. So like, these are just more rocks we can throw at them. It's like, oh yeah, it's not enough for it to be the water contaminated, but now there's also flash flooding, and there's this whole ecosystem underneath the surface that's going to come rising up and cause even more problems. So it's like, okay, cool.
Lakes that can form behind dams of ice. Or even landslide material. When water accumulates under a lake bed and breaches, it can cause a sudden and potentially catastrophic flood. This phenomenon is known as glacial-like outburst flood, or GLOF, or an outburst flood. It involves rapid release of a large volume of water leading to significant downstream impacts. The severity of the flood depends on factors like the volume of water release, the terrain, and the presence of infrastructure, and so on.
This is cool. What I like about this, too, is with this warp thing going on and these weird effects, it keeps the ship from interceding and solving the problem for the away team. I think Star Trek is always great when they're cut off from the ship and we have to see their science knowledge come. Yeah. So I'm really liking where this is leaning.
Can I also just add that when you're doing a prep and you do these fun little like, wait, isn't there a thing where this happens and like get like the technical terms down? It's really fun to feed that to players because it makes them feel like if they're playing a science officer, they discovered this. They know what this is. Like, it's a lot of fun when you hand them the science and they can techno babble their way into like, oh, I know what this is. And like saying it's great. So much fun.
Good.
Very cool.
All right. BC. Okay. So give us another potential complication.
Sure. So I decided to go for sensor complications.
Nice.
Let's see what we get here. This is a 16. Oh, wait a minute. I have bad light. 18. I apologize. An experiment using low power subspace communications to provide low resolution subspace sensor returns is making the normal subspace sensors on board the ship noisy. Now, the sensor complications are largely written from the point of view of the ship's sensors. But I'm going to suggest that maybe we can transition that into stuff that's going on the actual planet. And so maybe it's the case that, Ryza was experimenting or they themselves in trying to understand what the problem was, were doing things with their own planetary sensor grid. And that's having the effect of screwing up the vehicle and tricorder sensors. And that's an impediment that, our characters have to get around.
Yes. So, and we could decide with a little bit of threat if that potency is 2 or 3. So they have to rely on a little bit more of their down and dirty science skills and not the equipment so much, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. Just so you know, too, on page 59, there's actually tricorder complications too. So you could always throw
the
that
technical manual. I love that.
Yeah, it's really good. There's one other thing. Okay, so that's tricorder, but someone who mentioned the species here. Who made up the species? Was that you, BC? Unidentified life forms?
No.
That was you, Jim?
No, I think that was Eric mentioning that there might be a life form underneath the water, underneath in that other.
There could be an ecosystem. It could be microbial. It could be.
Okay.
It could be.
Well, the reason why I wanted to ask that is because on page 49 of the technical guide, we get to find out the alien language encounter if we can even understand these creatures. So I'll just quick roll on it since I have it here, just so we're building like for the players as we design this game. Ooh, how extreme are these creatures going to be? And of course, we could always go, Eric. In fact, you got to go to the captain's log right now to figure out the kind of form of body of these creatures. I'll roll on their language. So I'm going to go ahead and I rolled a 5.
Would this?
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, would this be under Beasts of Galaxy, or do you think this would be probably not? No, not Spaceport Entity. That'd be totally different. Okay,
it's the one before that, Life Forms.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So get that ready. I already rolled on the language encounter, and its difficulty 2. The language bears some similarities to languages in your database. So just understand there would have to be a language action at this point.
Okay.
We could decide the universal translators go out and it becomes an extended task to understand them too, according to the technical guide.
Okay.
So design this life form for us so we know it comes out from under the water.
I'm going to roll on all these tables then.
Yep.
All right. Life forms.
Life forms, roly poly life forms. Oh, is it only our generation that gets that now?
I'm singing the Data song. I didn't actually catch.
I need my tricorder to do the little.
Yeah.
Okay,
so Eric didn't get it. I guess he's much younger than us.
What was it?
Life forms, roly poly. You don't know what song I'm referencing?
No, I didn't get it. I don't get it.
Oh, you've never heard Fish Heads?
No.
Oh, please look it up. It will become a brain earworm for the rest of your night. You'll be mad at me at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I'm gonna text you and be like, "What the hell is this?" Carbon-based. Okay. All right. So they're carbon-based life forms. Their body structure is, that's twice I've rolled that, bilateral.
Okay.
Bilateral body structure. And we've chosen carbon-based. So I'm going to roll on, for more details of what a carbon-based life form looks like, roll on this matrix. And this matrix tells me that they are Monera.
What's Monera? I forgot.
Monera. Yeah. I'll give you the technical definition so I don't mess this up. Monera is a historical term for a kingdom in biology that encompasses all prokaryotic organisms, meaning single-celled organisms without a nucleus or other membrane-bound. Or I cannot pronounce all of these words. I wish it's been about 15 years since I've taken a science class.
Blame Al Spader. He wrote that section.
Thanks,
I'm pretty
Al.
sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for making Eric see me literate.
Yeah. Let's see. Historically, biological kingdoms made up of unicellular. I'm seeing pictures here. Prokaryote, I believe, is what it's called. As such, is composed of a single-celled organisms that lack a nucleus.
Like coral.
Yeah. Does it give corals an example in here? Because that would
be helpful.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and Google.
Green algae is an example.
Oh, algae. Oh, okay.
Blue-green algae is another example of one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Are there any additional roll tables on that life form? Right now we have sentient algae.
Sentient algae. Let's see. Let's see. That was carbon-based life. That was it.
Okay, that's good enough. All right. So with what we have so far, let's go around. Where are you all kind of feeling it? Let's start with BC. What are you feeling so far about the mission?
We have a lot of elements here.
Yeah.
How do we get them to interact a bit more? Like it feels like one of the things that could make this an exciting story is if, you're trying to push this, but then this element over here is reacting in a way you didn't expect. And then you try to move this one, and then this other thing starts reacting in a way you didn't expect. So as you try to amp up the amplitude of your sensors to try to push through some of the sensor problems you suddenly discover that you're killing the algae, and and that feels like a bad thing because maybe there's an ecological effect of that.
I like this. So you're saying that set it up so that maybe if you're writing the module, the normal things and the normal tactics that the players would do actually create triggers.
Yes.
For some of these events.
Exactly.
I like that. I always like stuff like that.
Just to force people to think outside of the box a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. And I like, again, just create the problems. They have to figure out how to use what they have to solve it, right, Jim? Or are you thinking so far?
I think this might come down a little bit to GM preference, right? I think we've got a great inciting incident. We've got all the hooks. We got all kinds of things that could be happening. I think this might be enough for me as a game master to just throw my players into it and see what they react to, and see what kind of solutions and ideas they start churning up, and then I would just pick out those threads and just continue on into the story. I don't know that I personally would need a whole lot more prep work than what we've already laid down for me to just jump right in and start the game session with the opening cold open teaser, whatever, and get them onto the planet as soon as possible, and start throwing these complications and challenges at them, and start weaving the story from there. Obviously, if we're writing this as a module to make available, we'd want to put more story into it. But like if I'm a game master, I've just spent 20 minutes doing prep work, I'm good to go. right? I don't want to spend hours, you know, screwing around with more tables and coming up with more possibilities, right? I want to get this on the table and get playing with it. But that's just me. Like, Eric, I'd love to hear your perspective.
Yeah. So I think there's always a risk of over rolling and over complicating your story. What I always do is I break down whether or not I have enough to write a Star Trek episode. And so the way I would approach it is my elements that I know that I have is I have interplanetary conflict between two peoples. The water is important. There's a Ferengi involved, but it might seem like the Ferengi is the big reveal, but the big reveal is actually that there is a sentient algae life form that is actually perhaps in danger here, and there's something more at stake. There's like the possible extinction of a brand new, never before discovered life form at stake. So it's like it's giving me the perfect like act structure of a scene of diplomacy to establish what's going on, and then I know that I'm going to have them uncover what the Ferengi is doing, like what's going on with that, but maybe an accident or something, or setting up a scene where all of a sudden it's revealed that the Ferengi, who had no clue that he was actually about to cause the extinction of this brand new sentient style life form, like maybe they find a way of trying to communicate, like the water is talking to them or something. Like there's just, it's what I love about it is there's 4 levels to the story. There's the planetary conflict, the Ferengi, and then the which is like, and the sort of like the greedy guy, and then there is trying to solve that problem, but then there is also the bottom of a whole new life form, which I think is a great reveal in the final act of discovering that they've discovered a strange new life form. And because then you're going to inject, after all of this back and forth, you're going to inject this episode with all that lovely Star Trek hope and excitement of discovering something new. So I think you have everything you need for a great episode. And now it's just coloring in the dots and I would say, when you come up with stuff like this, always try to make it as simple as possible. And all the details we were talking about, like the water table underneath the thing, stuff, those are great things to add in when the players roll, but don't give too much because they'll think they'll think it's more than what it is. I'll give you a very, very, very quick example. Yep. When I ran Lower Decks, I ran a 2-shot Lower Deck game for Celia Rose wanted to play Lower Decks, so we ran a game for them, and in the middle of the game, I needed to keep the players moving and stress how dangerous it was for them to be walking outside the satellite when they were. So I had a rogue piece of rock just suddenly slam into the side of the satellite, and they all had to make checks to stay on the thing. And that's all it was. But Celia was like, no, that came from somewhere. This is a plot. Like, this is some, like, and I was like, oh my God, they've got it. Like, they are such a role player. This is their first game. Like, oh God, they are welcome. Right. Welcome, Celia Rose. So I think anticipating, like, if you give too much, they'll just start thinking that's a plot thread to follow. So just keeping it very simple when you have this many layers to your story.
Yeah. At my point, what I would do here too is I would take these and break them up into 3 acts, knowing that people can move encounters anywhere they want to.
Totally.
But at this point, I would start doing, the 3 acts and deciding, to your point, like if it's going to be the reveal of the life forms at the end of Act 2 or the beginning of Act 3, I'm going to decide those kind of things. I also, besides the 3 acts, I would also say, well, what if some people stay on the ship? What could they be doing? So I would have them looking at that warp ion trail and that a Ferengi tractor beam, encountered it. And maybe they have to call to the station nearby and say, yeah, there's a Ferengi here who was in the area docked. We don't know what he's doing there. Maybe they have to go interrogate the Ferengi. And at this point, I'm looking at each one of my type of characters. What's my security officer doing this game? What's my con officer? They're probably flying the Irwin. They probably love. They probably know aquatic vehicles. What's my science officer? What's the medical officer taking care of the people on the research station, or even dealing with our own medical symptoms that we're starting to develop? The command officer, what are they doing? So that's where I start really looking at the adventure from that aspect too.
Yeah, in fact, only because I was writing a blog post on this too. If I wanted to do just a little bit more prep work, I might even pull out the division source books and go to the plot components. If I knew like what my specific characters were going to be showing up that night, like if I knew that the chief medical officer, the chief scientist, and the XO were going to be at that game session, I would mine their plot components in the division books and say, oh, well, here's an extra little plot I can give the XO, and here's an extra little plot I can give the CMO or whatever, just to make sure that they're all involved in everything, and find creative ways to tie all again, random tables, Michael.
Well, I was going to say, and just for fun, because we all love our Bplots in Star Trek, I'm also going to go to Lower Decks book and roll on the random family drama table. And be like, so if I have 6 characters, I'm going to roll the D20, decide which one's having the family drama, and I'm going to roll on that table, and that becomes a Bplot that they have to deal with.
Or could deal with, right? I mean, depending on how the discussion goes, you could add that in as another element for them to deal with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to Jim's point, we really did that in about 25 minutes. We really, we talked a lot. When I'm by myself, it goes quicker. Though I honestly love, like as an example, for those of you, give you a little behind the curtain. When we were developing the adventure set with Merrick Moyer and Al Spader and myself for the starter pack, we did this. We were like, oh, throw this in, throw that in, throw this in. And then we all kind of separated it out into where it was going to go in the 3 different stories. I personally love collaboration like this, because when I hear your ideas, it just, gets me bouncing, stuff like this. But this is a great way that even your players could say, hey, you know what? Let's roll up a beginning of the adventure together. I'll throw in some surprises for you later. This could be something you do with the players so they understand about the ownership it goes into creating a story like this.
Totally. Yeah. I would say as a GM, back at GNS, there was 2 different styles of, well, there was 3 GMs on the channel at that point. It was me, Mercer, and Jason Carl. And Carl had a very structured way to play his vampire games. Callisto 6 and Star Trek were very open-ended, and then Matt had a very D&D, obviously, like written out. Like his notes are wild. He's very detailed oriented and writes out scripts for his NPCs of like exactly he knows what they're going to say, kind of stuff. Like there's different ways of doing it, and I've certainly discovered that one of the ways that really helps structuring things and keeping it when you're running Star Trek, you're running an RPG that's based off a TV show. And so there's a beat structure to it that everyone is familiar with. And what I'm trying to say is there's nothing wrong with including the players on letting them know certain aspects of how the beat is good. Because it's not so much, it's just the chance to play in a Star Trek TV show as much as it is to pretend like you're actually in Starfleet. So I would say don't be afraid to like clue your players in onto what act you're in or what the title of the episode is or anything like that.
What do you feel about what I just did with all of you? I want to get your feedback. What if I, as a game master, sat everyone down at the table to play a game and I handed, BC, the technical manual, and I say, whenever we roll complications, you got to roll them out yourself, or advantages, or Jim, you have the exploration guide. Eric, you have the captain's log. What do you think about a GM handing that out to players to kind of get them involved? Yay, nay?
I think that there could be some real genius to that, because I would say meeting halfway, limit it so that when the game kicks off, you have the character. Once you guys have decided on the elements of what the conflict is or where Starfleet is sending you or what's going on, then you assemble it. And then at the start of the episode, you can have the captain read off the captain's log, like it's the start of the mission, to recap all the players of like captain's log, start date such and such. We've been sent to this world due to an interplanetary conflict with the neighboring species. And then the rest of it, I would probably just start. That's a very complicated way of doing it, because I love GMing in the moment, so I can roll on a table right there and have something. But I think that's a really fun way of doing it.
What do you think, BC? Would you do it?
I have to confess, there's a part of me that that likes to experience the sensation of a story unfolding. And I like to feel that there's some thematic unity and direction. And if I see the random, if I as a player see the random tables being engaged at the game table, I feel like it's ad hoc, and and I feel like, that we're just winging it, and I would worry that I would feel robbed of that sort of story progression element. But that's just,
I love hearing that. So you like the suspense. Yeah, you like that factor. Jim, what about you?
Well, as a player, I'm a bit more traditional. I prefer to be presented the story hook at the beginning and then to get into it. I feel like if I was asked to participate in the sausage making for the first half hour of the
Yeah.
session, then I've just lost half an hour of potential gameplay. Right?
Right.
I'm sure, great. I'm helping the game master prepare the session, but all that should have been done ahead of time, right? We should be at the table and jumping right into the story. Feed me the story, and then trust the players, and then we trust the game master. We know the beats, we know how the structure works. We're going to help you build the story as we go, as you're feeding us the key topics that you've already generated. As a player, I don't think I'd want to be involved in like I said, the sausage making ahead of time. I think there's certainly a place for that, and I'm sure some players would love to get into the weeds on that. But me personally, I would rather just start the story. Give me the opening crawl, give me the opening teaser music, and then jump me into the jump me into Act One. Let's go. I don't want to have to do all that prep work beforehand.
I wonder if it wasn't prep work, but it was suppose like you're the science officer and the captain orders you to scan the planet. Me as the GM, I could say, I'm going to let it be random. I'm going to hand them the exploration guy and say, hey, roll what biome you scan where the probe crashed. Does that also take away the same thing? Like with both the UBC and Jim, that it should have been kind of plotted before.
It feels like it's slowing down the game a bit.
Okay.
Like anytime you pull out a random table and start rolling on it, you're slowing things down for the dice. Mm-hmm. As opposed to just making either you've already got it written down and you can pull out a card and say, here, science officer, here's what you just scanned, right? And then I can add that into my character voice and get right into the story. Or you can slow us down and say, okay, well, open up the book to umpty page and then roll the dice and tell me what your results are, and then okay, and then it's just a different feel.
I think I'm more. I guess I would lean toward. I know, Eric, we're big into improv too.
Yeah.
Like I think for it's good to know that, because if you have a team, and I don't. I have players who don't even know Star Trek, so I would not have them rolling on roll tables like this. But if I was with an improvisational group that we were really going to just play out and yes and therefore, but then I would like it as an experiment to try it.
That's what I was going to say I think it really depends on your play style of group, because there's really those open style games where the players do have some narrative control. I am 90% of the time I am not a fan of those games, because a lot of players will feel the pressure to be a GM in that moment, and they don't like that. On the other hand, too, there is a lot of fun if you do have a group that is open to that kind of yes and experience. It's thrilling if you ask the science officer, run a scan, and they get to tell you in real time, like a science officer, as they roll it up, like they're just like, because they are literally in the moment discovering what the planet is. Yeah. And you as the GM have to be on your game and be like, okay, great. Like, let's find out what you discover down there. Maybe there's nothing. Or maybe this is maybe this is an episode where you guys end up trapped and you have to discuss an upcoming wedding or something. But I think it's really play style.
Yeah. Now that you say it, I think where I would meet in the middle is I might let players do that just to have that experience of being a science officer. But I think I would still have an embedded plot, even if it's on board.
Have it in your back pocket.
Just run this B plot, like something going on, and I'm saying, oh, by the way, you're doing some normal ship duties. Oh, a complication pops up on that, so let's go roll on the complication. Now you got to attend that, but I'd still have a main story so that I could satisfy both parties. I would try maybe that. Yeah. Would that be something that would work, BC?
Yeah, it's interesting, because I was reflecting on some of the comments you were making. So I have a degree in theater, and I did a lot of improv. And so I'm listening to you talking about your engagement with improv as something that helps you yes and this. I'm trying to think, okay, so why am I the naysayer here? Why do I feel like I'm not as fond of that? And I think that I feel like I am the best. I come up with my best ideas by reflection. And I feel like the amount of time between I just rolled this and now I have to be on the spot and come up with something really clever here. Just feels like I don't know, a lot of undue pressure. And yet, having said that, reacting to things, and then the Ferengi comes out from behind the wall, behind the door, like that's an essence of role playing. So why don't I have that same feeling about that scenario? It's just I can't explain that.
Yeah, I was told by a player once they didn't want to make it feel like it was work to play the game. And that's okay. I love that when people, even ones who I think I mentioned before, they don't want to have that many personal problems of their character because they have too many in real life. They don't want to deal with it. So it's about really session zeroing what each person wants, right?
Yeah, I really think there's a middle ground. I think the way to do it is to find a middle ground, but do not do it in such a way that it's going to I don't mind doing a captain's log at the beginning because the players know what situation they're going into, and then yoinking the rug right out from underneath them. I love when players give me backstory and they're like, my father was killed by the Dominion, and then 7 game sessions in, their father shows up. Like I like twisting things a little bit so that it's never predicted. Otherwise, you're inviting players into an escape room and telling them how to get out of the escape room and then asking them to pretend like they didn't know how to get out of the escape room. And that's like, sure, that's fun if you're an actor and you're filming it, I guess you can play that. But like, yeah, part of the fun of showing up to an RPG is the not knowing and as you go. So there's a couple of systems out there that do the collaborative build with players. And it's really, I find it's really hit or miss. You really need to have the group has to all want to do it that way for it to work, I think. Otherwise, I think it should just be a GM support. That's my take. Yeah.
Agreed. Cool. All right. So out of this, we got some really good stuff tonight so far.
Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Eric.
Say, or just wait a little bit longer and BC Holmes will come up with all the generators for you. And all you got to do is click buttons and bam, doesn't slow down the game. And there you go.
Well, this is there was an episode we had. I'll send it to you, Eric. BC came on last time showing some of the features, and you can now program your own random tables because, of course, you can't have Modifius tables.
Of course,
because blah, 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 blah. But to your point, I had begged BC for that, and now it's there, and that's why
super handy.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. So tonight, first of all, I could honestly, if Jim was like, Michael, I need you to write a module for us or a mission brief, boom, I'd have it right here. If next one you ask me, Jim, I think I'll just prove it by keeping these Post-it notes and just slap it into a module somewhere just to prove how this, and I hope this builds the confidence in you at home, GMs, of sitting down with these books, throwing out some random stuff and building your own modules for your players. Let's go around and talk a little bit about what you got out of this tonight, Jim.
I think this was great fun. It's great to riff with people, and even if I wasn't, if I was doing this prep work by myself, I got the confidence between these 2 or 3 different books. Even if you add in Lower Decks, you add in some of the other ones. If I need the support as a game master, like if I'm just having a night where I'm not particularly creative, I can just grab a dice and just do some rolling and just see what sparks. I don't have to use the results that are generated. I can say, I don't like that one. I'm going to go with a different one on the table or up at a different table or something. Or maybe just by doing it enough, something will spark my ideas and start churning. But if nothing else, in half an hour, we created a huge diversity of potential for story here. And I mean, that's a win. So I'm excited because of all the different things that we can do. And plus there's 9 different biomes in the book, right? So every one of them's have 10 tables each. So there's just so much potential to throw in here. It doesn't have to be a swamp. It could be the Arctic. It could be desert. It could be something else. So
hey, I love any Star Trek show that isn't in a cave.
Yeah. What did they call it? Planet Hell on set? I think they called it Planet Hell.
Yeah. Cat pee is all I remember. It smells like cat pee. Okay, Eric, then BC, what's your takeaway from what we just did?
I mean, you guys have known for a long time. I scream about the glory of tables, because for me as a storyteller, as you can tell, I get really excited in prompt-based storytelling. If there's a prompt, because it gets me immediately asking what if. What I like about it is it gets me out of my thinking mind and gets me more creative. And I kind of get out of my own way when I'm prompted with something, because I have to make it true now. Like we were starting out with Romulans and Remans, and then we ended up in a swamp. So my brain was like, okay, so how's that relevant? Like, how are we making this true? We switched though, and that's totally valid as well. We switched to a whole new thing and created this. I love prompt-based storytelling. So tables like this, I think the most important thing for anybody who uses tables like this, if you're an ADHD kid like me, just remember, you can absolutely toss out everything you're doing and pick only the little things you like. and go with that, and just whatever excites you, follow that road. And the tables are there to support you. You do not have to lock in on something. We tossed out the Romulan Riemann thing and came up with a way better storyline involving a Ferengi. So yeah,
it's really good stuff. BC?
Yeah, I think I have very similar comments. I had a boss once who used to say that, creativity doesn't come from an open green field. It comes from some well-designed constraints. And I think that like Eric, I arrived at the conclusion that, hey, using these roll tables, which I didn't tend to lean toward myself, we were able to create a bunch of constraints that had the effect of A, escalating the stakes, and B, engaging a creative part of the brain to come up to rationalize it all. And I think that was pretty eye-opening for me, and I thought that was interesting.
That is great. You're right. We're talking about the stakes. Like I would not want to be on this away team for anything.
Like, I mean, the moment you said swamp,
I said vertigo. That alone is I hate
good point. Vertigo is pretty bad. Yeah. An algae that's helping cause vertigo. Yikes. A sentient algae at that.
It must be their way of communicating.
Exactly.
That's all I'll say.
We can just keep going. We can just keep going.
They mess with the equilibrium. Okay, good. All right. So with that, we are at gratitude. I'm going to do a quick gratitude. First, Eric, coming in for the last minute because I was listening to your streaming. Just remind people how they can watch you on streaming.
Yeah. I'm 16-bit Eric on every social, except X. I left X ages ago. But yeah, you can find me on Twitch at 16-bit Eric, 16-bit Eric. And same on Blue Sky. So yeah, definitely follow me there, and Instagram, 16-bit Eric. Yeah.
I tune into him like I do NPR. It's like anytime I can, I just jump on. Today I was at the gym
while grateful.
You were on, and I just put it on, and I was so glad because I heard you today and you were talking about this. I said, okay, I invite him on the show. So thank you for coming in at the last minute. I also want to send my gratitude this week to Anitra Johnson and Bill Wolkoff, who in my opinion wrote one of the best Strange New World episodes ever. You had zombies. That's all I'll say. It's proving that
I can't wait to see it.
That Star Trek can be any kind of story you want. And every time I see Strange New Worlds, writers like this go here and there and create something totally outlandish, it's inviting more people into the universe, and it's inviting more people to play the game any way they want to. So keep pushing those creative bounds. I love that every time I sit down, I don't know what kind of show I'm going to get. And that's it's for someone like me. I just love it. All right, let's go. Gratitude. We'll go BC, Eric, then Jim.
Sure. I've done this particular gratitude before, but since Eric is here, I will send my gratitude to the crew of the USS Sally Ride, who were in fact my gateway into Star Trek adventures.
Gonna make me emotional.
That's how I learned about the game, and that's how I got involved.
Gonna make me emotional.
And there's a picture of it. There's a picture of it.
Which I did not know was happening. That was so shocking to see. That was amazing. Oh, okay. I have two gratitudes to give. I know, God, I flipped out. One of the members of our fandom just said, oh my God, you got to check this page. I just lost my mind. I got two gratitudes. The first one I'm just going to give to Jim, because Jim is an incredibly patient editor and boss when it comes to writing, and I was saying this morning on my stream, if you remember correctly, Michael, how I was just kind of going off about how Jim is a very patient man and worked with me, and I deeply appreciate it. So my gratitude going out to Jim for the project. And then lastly, I want to give a big shout out to Stephanie Chakowski, who we roomed with at Comic-Con. You guys might know her as Tavine on Star Trek Picard Season 3. She roomed with me and Bonnie at Comic-Con. And every morning she got up and went and got us coffee and Gatorade and water. She became con mom and took care of the entire group. So a big shout out to Stephanie for keeping us alive and hydrated. Thank you, Stephanie.
That's so cool. What a moment. Oh my goodness.
That's very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Very kind words. I appreciate it. Thank you. My gratitude, gosh, it's been a busy summer, so I just want to say thank you to all the creatives out there, all the creative writers, artists, etc., that I've worked with and interacted with. You are doing amazing work in very challenging times in this day and age of social and political upheaval and unrest. So keep creating, keep making cool stuff, because that's what a lot of people need right now, including me. that's why I'm consuming creative stuff, but I'm also creating creative stuff because I know people need the arts now more than ever. So thank you everybody for creating cool stuff. And as always, Michael, BC, Eric, thank you for being on the show. You give me a lift when I need it, and sometimes when I don't realize I need it. So I am just super grateful to be on this Star Trek ride for as long as it lasts, and we got all the fans with us too. So gratitude to all the fans as well for being there and for supporting us and supporting Eric's show and supporting BC's efforts on the character app, and for supporting me and Michael on this here show. Even though we had to take a little bit of a break and go to twice a month instead of every week, we may come back to weekly, but we'll have to talk about that. So gratitude to everybody. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Until next time, IDIC.
Live long and prosper, y'all. Be safe, be well. See you next time.